Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we present Top Fuel Dragster's newest star, Ida Zettastrom. We'll show you how much creativity goes into building autocross buggies. And we'll have a race in the south of France, plus much, much more from the FIA world of motorsport. The new season of Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine is very entertaining. 12 different teams, 37 drivers from around the world, 10 stops and 20 races to find a new champion. The first 6 races saw already 4 different winners and good performances from Hadrien David and the R-Ace GP team, and Gabriel Mini and the Art Grand Prix team. But the dominant team early in the season is Prima Racing. One of their drivers was at the top of the podium in 4 of the 6 races. With 3 wins, Dino Beganovic leads in the overall standings. Hadrien David is 55 points behind, and Gabriel Mini is sitting in 3rd position. The 4th round of the new season is held in the south of France in Circuit Paul Ricard. For the first race, once again, Swede Dino Beganovic is on the pole position. Next to him is Brazilian Gabriel Bortoleto. Prima Power Team driver Paul Aron starts from the 3rd position. It's a good start from Beganovic, but Paul Aron puts a lot of pressure on Gabriel Bortoleto. After the first few laps, the 2 Prima Racing drivers already have a big lead. Now it's a duel for the lead. Paul Aron relentlessly attacks his teammate, but Dino Beganovic fights back and manages to stay in front. However, the Estonian doesn't let up and keeps trying. Finally, he manages to push past Beganovic. The fight for 3rd place is also quite exciting. Mikhail Belov in the orange MP Motorsports car tries to overtake Gabriel Bortoleto, and shortly before the end of the race, he succeeds. But at the top, Paul Aron remains in the lead. The Estonian can celebrate his 2nd win of the season and thus reducing the gap to his teammate Dino Beganovic in the overall standing. The Swede has not finished worse than 2nd in any race this season. Mikhail Belov makes it onto the podium for the 2nd time. For the 2nd race of the weekend, Gabriel Mini is on the pole position. After another great qualifying session, Gabriel Bortoleto starts next to him. Championship leader Dino Beganovic starts from the 3rd position. The start goes well and the drivers at the front of the field hold their positions. Mini leads ahead of Bortoleto and Beganovic. But a short time later, Beganovic shows his outstanding form and overtakes Bortoleto. On the long straight, Dutchman Haas Havercourt sucks into the slipstream of Bortoleto in 3rd place, then easily passes the Brazilian. At the top of the field, Dino Beganovic attacks Gabriel Mini and the Italian defends with everything he has. For a short moment, they both leave the track, but Mini stays in front. Beganovic, however, does not give up. The Swede tries again on the straight, and Havercourt also sees his chance now, but Mini defends his lead. Great racing from the 3 drivers. A little further back, Bortoleto has to let the next driver pass him. Paul Aron has no problems to move up to 4th place. The first 3 positions remain unchanged. Gabriel Mini with a commanding lights to flag win, Dino Beganovic with another finish in the top 2, and Kaz Havercourt is happy about his 2nd podium this season. The Dutchman's joy is even greater because following the scrutineering carried out at the end of the 2nd race, the Prima Power Racing car of Dino Beganovic was found to be non-compliant. After the Swedish driver's exclusion from the race classification, behind Gabriel Mini, there are now Haas Havercourt in 2nd place and Paul Aron, who came in 3rd. With this victory, Gabriel Mini passes Hadrien David in the overall standings. Despite his disqualification, Dino Beganovic still has a big lead of 45 points over the Italian. The next stop of the Formula Regional takes place in Sandfort. This is Ida. She's half Swedish, half Finnish. Ida's 28 years old, pretty relaxed, good fun to be around, and usually in an extremely good mood. However, Ida is also...
I'm very stubborn. When I do something, I really want to feel like I'm doing it correct and I'm the best at it. But other than that, I think I'm quite easygoing. I like to have fun. I like American muscle cars. We have a 68 Camaro, some jet skis and some bikes. And for us, just good fun is go out and do something action-packed together.
Ida Zettastrom was born with a passion for motorsports. At the age of 3 weeks, her parents took her to her first dragster event.
When I was 8, that was the lowest age you can start running junior dragsters at the time. So my dad built a junior dragster for me and we instantly got in it to see if I liked it. I had been stoked already to try it. From the beginning, it was the speed, the adrenaline, going fast, going as fast as possible, and all of that was really fun. But then as I grew older, I kind of really fell in love with just like the racing of it, like what it takes to be the best, to get faster every time and how you can improve on everything.
At the age of 16, Ida got her Super Comp dragster license, but then she switched from 4 to 2 wheels. In 2013, she started racing in the Super Street Bike class, and within a very short time, she went from being a good rider to a great rider. She became the first woman to ever clock a 6-second run with a stunning 6.885-second race, making her the second fastest rider in Super Street Bike history at the time.
If you are that one that really wants to be the best and wants to work on it, and you are open to seeing things you do wrong and where you can improve, then I think you can move forward a lot faster.
Last year, she fulfilled her biggest dream and earned her Top Fuel license, in style. Her 3.862 second for 1,000 feet was the fastest license ever run. Her Superbike experience helps her in the Top Fuel dragster races.
It's the same feeling mentally. It never stops pulling. When you leave the line, it only gets better from there. It only accelerates. When you're doing those high speeds, it's kind of like your mind eventually gets used to it and it's able to slow down and you're able to react to stuff differently, or you're able to feel in the motions of the car or how the bike reacts and everything. So it does feel like you're doing it for a lot longer.
This season, Ida is a rookie in Top Fuel dragsters, and like with the first time on the Superbike, she benefits from her team.
So usually what I try to do is, of course, listen to the team I have around me, and especially when they have more experience than I do. Drag racing is very humbling sport. You can have a great run and you feel, I did perfect, it felt awesome, it was great. And then the run next after, it can be just, not great at all. So it's a very humbling sport.
We have a strong feeling that Ida will have more good runs than bad ones, because so far she has done very well with the advice she once got and nowadays likes to pass that on to young girls.
If they can do it, you can do it.
Dragster racing is back. After a very long COVID-19 break, the FIA main event at Santa Pod Raceway is the first official FIA European Drag Racing Championship event since 2019. And it's well received by fans, teams, and drivers alike. There's a full international field of 16 cars in the fan favorite class of the FIA European Pro Modified Championship. Pro Mods are drag racing's quickest, fastest door slammers, cars with functional doors. The illustrious field is led by defending champion Jan Eriksson from Sweden in his orange 68 Chevy Camaro. He's the only driver in the field with a personal best under 5.8 seconds for the quarter mile, which corresponds to about 400 meters. David Vecta from the Netherlands has accumulated 5 FIA race runner-up finishes since his 2009 Pro Mod debut and is aiming in his 68 Chevrolet Camaro for his first win. Estonian Andres Anover launched his Pro Mod career only last summer, But with the greatest debut pass seen in Europe with 5.88 seconds in his 67 Ford Mustang, he's also one of the favorites. In the first semifinal, Swiss vet Bruno Bader in his 63 Chevy Corvette will face the big favorite Jan Eriksson. In the heats, Bader was able to convince with a 5.88 for the quarter mile, but Eriksson set consistent times in the 5.70s. The race is decided at the start. Another final for Jan Eriksson. A convincing victory with a great time of 5.78 seconds and a top speed of 395 kilometers an hour. In the second semifinal, Andres Arnover on the left will meet David Vegter. The Dutchman is a slight favorite in this race, although Andres Arnover had a very good weekend so far. It's a close race, but David Vegter prevails. 5.86 seconds is the winning time. Even the better top speed of 400 kilometers an hour will not console the Estonian about his defeat. The grand finale of the Pro Mod class. The first and third of the quali against each other. Jan Eriksson from Sweden against David Vegter from the Netherlands. The champion against the eternal runner-up. David Vegter on the left, Eriksson on the right. It's a better start for Vegter, but in the end, Jan Eriksson wins the first race of the FIA European Pro Modified Championship. Both stay under 6 seconds, but the higher top speed makes the difference in the end. A great final. Jan Eriksson opens the new season in style. Another second-place finish for David Vegter. Top Fuel dragsters are the quickest accelerating wheel-driven vehicles on the planet. They have over 11,000 horsepower, a top speed of 500 kilometers per hour, and cover the distance of 1,000 feet or 305 meters in just under 4 seconds. Finn Antihorto has a 25-year drag racing career and races in Top Fuel since 2011. His personal best speed is 501 kilometers per hour. Swede Susanne Kalin returned to Top Fuel action in 2019, 14 years after her last outing. In between, she's raised 2 daughters who now both race in junior dragster. Last but not least, there's Ida Zettastrom, the newest face in Top Fuel. These 3 drivers want to make it to the final. In the first semi-final heat, Susanne Kalin and Antihorto meet. The Finn in the blue and white dragster, Kalin in the yellow and black one. Antihorto with a great race, a new European record of 3.80 seconds, and also a new personal best speed with 513 kilometers per hour. Ida Zettastrom has a bye run in the other semifinal, but a good chance for the 28-year-old to get more experience. A great run, 3.782, Europe's first 3.7 and a new European record. A great performance from Ida Zettastrom and a highly deserved appearance in the final. There she meets Antihorto, who is naturally favored with his experience. Ida loses traction at the start and rolls to the finish, while Antti proves his consistency and covers the drag strip in 3.809 seconds. The first win of the season goes to Antihorto, a great FIA EDRC debut for Ida Zettastrom. The drivers of Prima Racing dominated the second round of the F4 Italian Championship in Misano. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who was in pole position in all 3 races, managed to win in the first 2 races. The first 2 wins for the rookie driver in the F4 Italian. The 15-year-old also dominated race 3, but after a restart, his teammate Rafael Camara was not only able to get closer, but also overtake the Italian Mercedes AMG F1 Junior. The second win of the season for the 17-year-old Brazilian and the lead in the overall standings. The FIA European Truck Racing Championship kicked off the new season. The 16 drivers will compete for the title in 8 stops in 32 races. The first stop in Mazzano already showed how exciting this year will be. 3 different winners in the first 4 races showed how balanced the field is. The reigning champion Norbert Kish had a great start to the season, winning races 1 and 3. Antonio Albacete won the second race, and for the first time since 2019, the Spaniard was back on the top of the podium. Sascha Lenz crowned his great weekend with a success in the 4th and final race. The 10th Czech New Energies Rally was the second stop of the FIA Eco Rally Cup. After their second place at the first event in Valencia, the Czech duo of Michal Zdarsky and Jakub Nebelek had a great showing with incredible regularity that secured them first place. Their total deviation over almost 350 kilometers and 700 measuring points was only 7 minutes 20 seconds. The Italian-Polish duo of Guido Guarini and Artur Prusak were able to celebrate a surprisingly good second place and relegated reigning champion Eneko Conde to third place. The FIA Rally Star Middle East and North African final winners have been crowned at the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Oman's Abdullah Masoud Al-Taki earned a life-changing place in the FIA Rally Star training season 2023 after he came out on top of 2 days of rigorous assessment and evaluation presided over by a 5-person jury. Masoud Al-Taki joins Estonia's Romet Jurgensen, the winner of the FIA Rally Star European final in January, in the FIA Rally Star training season, with 4 places still up for grabs at the remaining continental finals. At the end of 2023, the best 4 FIA Rally Star team members are awarded with a season in the FIA Junior WRC in 2024. Meanwhile, Farah Zakaria from Jordan qualified for the FIA Rally Star Women's Final, which is due to take place in North America later this year, by completing the FIA Rally Star MENA Finals as the leading female competitor. The FIA European Autocross Championship events have a very special flair. Most drivers are amateurs who enjoy a great hobby. They not only spend a lot of time pursuing their passion, but they also invest countless hours in building and developing their buggies. Small budgets are compensated for by a lot of creativity, just like Kevin Peters. The Luxembourger finished second overall in the buggy 1600 category last season. Until the last race, he was in the thick of the fight for the title, also thanks to his buggy, which is a one-off, a creative masterpiece of engineering. The heart is, of course, the engine, or rather 2 engines in this case. Kevin's buggy is powered by 2 Triumph Street triple 3-cylinder motorbike engines, each with a capacity of 765 cc. You have to be crazy to build something like that. It's a lot more work than driving a single engine. We chose this system because we're confident in the Triumph engines. The biggest challenge is to match the engine so that you get maximum power. You always have a stronger and a weaker engine, so you have to find a good middle ground. The big challenge is to couple both engines together so that they're synchronized to throttle and shift gears in parallel.
Und dann haben wir, was ganz kompliziert ist und was nicht so einfach immer zu regeln ist, ist von den Motoren mit der
What's very
Schaltung.
complicated and not so easy to regulate is the manual transmission. You can adjust everything precisely. The motors are connected to a rod via rod end bearings. These are connected to the gear stick lever via a lever.
Hebel fahren wir nach vorne über Umlenksystem nach vorne an den Schalthebel. Das gleiche System funktioniert auch so mit dem Gas.
This is also how the accelerator works. However, we have 2 cable pulls at the top of the throttle that operate via a rocker. This is how both throttle caps move together.
Vom Gas wird das abgegriffen einmal, damit die beiden Drosselklappen sich bewegen miteinander.
The 280 horsepower are transmitted by the rear axle by chain and sprocket, just like on a motorbike. Buggies, however, are all-wheel drive vehicles, but even there, Kevin Peters has found a practical and durable solution.
wo mit dem mittleren Ritzel die Kette, die wird dann nach vorne.
Because it's an all-wheel drive car, the chain is led from the middle sprocket of the rear axle under the car to the front and connected again to a sprocket on the front axle via a differential.
Verbaut und dann umgekehrt wieder dann der Antrieb geschlossen für das Vierradantrieb.
According to FIA rules, the buggy also needs a reverse gear, which is lacking in motorbike engines. The next creative idea, a converted electric starter motor that is activated at the push of a button and then moves the car backwards. Of course, there are also countless custom-made other things on the car, and the father of two plans, builds, and perfects all of this in his spare time. His reward? Not only a unique and very fast buggy, but also one that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. The FIA European Autocross Championship season kicks off at the Pannonia Circuit. The legendary track in Latvia is the first of 10 stops of the 2022 season and represents a big challenge for the drivers. In the cross-car final, one of the favorites, number 305, Juan Jose Moll, has a great start, but is then touched and turned around. Bad luck for the Spanish driver. Frenchman Valentin Comte benefits from this. He leads the race, followed by Chantal van der Putten, Adam Kotaska, and Jose Fernandez. This group of four can break away from the rest of the field. And Valentin Comte wins the first cross-car final of the new season. Not only the first victory for the young Frenchman, but also the first time he is in the points. Chantal van der Putten from the Netherlands comes second, and the Czech Adam Kotaska is third. In the junior buggy final, two Czech drivers have a great start. Arnost Florian in the blue and orange buggy and Daniel Pitlun in the white and blue buggy take over the first two spots. After a few laps, Florian is still in front of Daniel, followed by two drivers from the Netherlands. Tia Kovac is in third position, and Toyn van Asten is in fourth. Arnost Florian drives a flawless race and maintains the lead. Daniel Pitlun stays behind him, and behind those two are four drivers fighting for the last podium spot. In the end, the two leaders are 6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Toyn van Asten from the Netherlands managed to secure third place. Arnost Florian wins the first race of the season. Last year's overall runner-up Daniel Pitlun comes in second. In the buggy 1600 final, last year's third overall, Jakub Novotny is in the middle of the front row of the grid, but on the far left, Markus Wibbeler has the best start and takes the first turn in first place. The German is still in the lead after a few laps. Novotny in second, but drives a bit too aggressively and touches Wibbeler. Number 102, Kevin Peters, takes advantage of this and moves up into second place. While the Czech drops back down to 9th place, Markus Wibbeler and Kevin Peters have a great duel for the top spot. With the better ending for the German, he crosses the finish line 0.6 of a second ahead of Kevin Peters. A great win for last season's 4th place driver. Kevin Peters shows that he is a force to be reckoned with again this year, and Stijn Jaspers from the Netherlands is happy about his good 3rd place. Bernd Stübe achieved great results in the qualifying race for the Super Buggy final, so the German has the best start position. Peter Nicodem is next to him, 5th overall last year. The Czech is one of the favorites for the title this season. Stübe on the far left, Nicodem in the middle, Robert Thuel on the far right. Together they turn into the first bend, and Stübe loses a few places. So it's Nicodem in front of Thuel. Then in the orange buggy, it's local hero Erwins Grenches, who knows the Muse circuit inside out. Peter Nicodem extends his lead, followed by Grenches, and then the Frenchman Johnny Foyade. Bernd Stübe has fallen back to 8th place. The first victory in the Super Buggies goes to Peter Nicodem. In the end, he's more than 6 seconds ahead of Erwin Grenches. Johnny Foyade comes in third. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we're meeting the reigning ETRC champion, Norbert Kisch. We'll have spectacular hill climb action from Sternberg, and we'll explain why karting is the cradle of many great race drivers. Till next time, take care everybody, and ciao.
We're in Hungary for the fourth round of the 2022 FIM Sidecar World Championship, and the weather is scorching. We're at the famous Pannonia Ring, and the crews have come to do battle here for 50 points at the top of the pile. If you can win both races, that's what you'll get. And sitting on top of the pile at the moment, Ellis Clement, 14-point advantage over defending champions Marcus Schlosser and Marcel Fries. Kershaw Charwood have replaced Tim Reeves in third. Wiesen, Stroyer, Peugeot. That young Frenchman has gone really well this year, just 19 years of age. Pole position then for Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. They did a storming 1:55.8. That was about 2 seconds quicker than anyone else. Marcus Schlosser, Marcel Fries alongside. Now this race was a really close one, and it was going to set things up for a fantastic second race on Sunday. But the Saturday race, under hot skies, clear skies, temperature of about 34 degrees, so it was very warm. You can tell by the dress of the spectators. A relatively small grid, but the quality is here. And it was here because when the lights went, it was Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement who rocketed away, followed by Schlosser and Stroyer. Benny Stroyer on the Benova action bike, tucking in behind. Stroyer and his passenger, Kevin Kolsch, moving through to grab second place. Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement meanwhile ahead, but it was Benny Stroyer who moved into second ahead of Marcus Schlosser. So that pushed the reigning champion, second in the title chase this year, back into third place. Not where they wanted to be, because they could see that the championship leaders and their main rivals were in a 25-point slot. So they had to do something about it. And what did they do? Well, they tried to dive past and made it stick underneath Benny Stroyer. So up to second place went Schlosser. Schlosser and Fries on the Gustoil Yamaha were riding very strongly. Second, though, in qualifying to the pole position and the race leaders, Todd Ellis. Harry Payne and Mark Wilkes out post-TT on the Dow 1886 Yamaha found themselves locked in a battle with Ted and Vance on Peugeot. And Lucas Wiesen was in there as well, the likeable Swiss, on the Gustoil bike. And as they fought their way round, Harry Payne putting on a good fist here, and we need to see him more regularly on the world stage, there's no doubt about it, as he looked over his shoulder. But Peugeot was coming through, Wiesen was riding very quickly, and these three then had a scrap all the way through until Payne hit a bit of a problem, but I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. Meanwhile, at the front, Todd Ellis was doing a great job fending off, and in fact doing a real battle, fending off the challenge from Marcus Schlosser as they clipped the grass. Wonderful scenery here at the Pannonia Ring, named after a famous motorcycle built in the post-war years here in the communist countries, particularly manufactured here in Hungary. Schlosser closing then on the back of Todd Ellis and going through and making the pass to take the lead. Ellis, not to be outdone and undeterred, stayed very much in touch and repeated the compliment on the very next right-hander. So it was back in the lead. The normal order was restored as through went Ellis and Clement to assume control at the front. Schlosser and Marcel Fries could see their championship lead evaporating, coming here with a 14-point disadvantage, and at the moment trailing by another 5 points. Harry Payne and Mark Wilkes on the Dow 1886 Yamaha, retiring with a problem which transpired to be a split exhaust. Great pity for them, a long way to come, but they would have another race tomorrow, and hopefully they would make amends. At the front though, it was Ellis and Clement with Schlosser and Fries, Stroyer and Kevin Kolsch tucked into third. Schlosser though, making a very quick move again on that fast Yamaha. We've seen how fast it is before. He shot through on the inside. Was Ellis going to take it lying down? Not a bit of it. You can see just how quickly they tucked back. And if this race was anything to go by, then we were set for a battle royal in race 2. The 3 getting away, waiting for the 4th crew to come through, and it was Steve Kershaw and Ryan Charwood on the Quattro Yamaha, followed by Ted and Vance on Peugeot, and profiting by Harry Payne's disadvantage, Lucas Wiesen and Thomas Hofer renewing their battle that they had at Spa. Number 11, Peter Kimmersvegger and Andrei Sedlacek, his Czech passenger, in a safe 7th place, and it was a good result for them. They were looking resplendent. This battle raged all race long. Kevin Cable, Chaz Richardson and Claude Vinet with Sebastian Arafon alongside, and they were battling race long for 8th place. The scrap at the front was terrific, equally close. It was a 12-wheeler. They were charging. Benny Stroyer, Kevin Kolsch never far from the front 2, and you could just tell, couldn't you, that there was no way Marcus Schlosser was going to let Todd Ellis get away. Ted Peugeot and Lucas Wiesen going strongly in the sunshine here, and boy, it was hot. There would be tyre degradation, no doubt about that, so managing the tyres would have been an important part in this race, particularly with another one coming up tomorrow. They had to know what to expect, and it's forecast to be even hotter. Emmanuel Clement doing an absolutely great job as they kept their bike ahead of Schlosser. Everyone using all the road. Checkered flag was out, and it was victory by about 0.3 of a second that Todd Ellis took and extended that championship lead by another 5 points. There you were. 2.2. Schlosser was second, Stroyer, Kershaw another 4th. Peugeot got the better of Wiesen, Kimmersvegger, Cable, Richardson, Vinet, Arafon, right behind Kevin Cable. Payne and Wilkes out without exhaust. Delighted faces on the podium, and another race coming up tomorrow. Well, it was even hotter on Sunday morning, and this race just absolutely was going to be a blinder. Pole position again, and first race victory for Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement as they lined up on the Santander Salt Yamaha alongside Marcus Schlosser and Marcel Fries. Behind them, Benny Stroyer, Kevin Kolsch, Steve Kershaw, Ryan Charwood, 4th in race 1. Could they go one better this time? They've already had a podium this year. They need to do something a bit special, but they are in 3rd place in the championship. An incredible performance for these, wandering gypsies of Europe, I think, out of Scotland, focusing on the World Championship, not doing the British. Waiting then, red flag leaves, watch the lights. 15-second board is up, the flag's gone, the lights are on, the lights are off, and it's a great start by Todd Ellis. The Gust Oil Yamaha of Schlosser alongside as they go up to the right-hander of turn 1. Benny Stroyer in the wheel tracks there, looking right, looking left, but round the outside, imperiously goes Todd Ellis. He's got his confidence, his mojo's back, he's really, really going. Well, his mojo's never been away this year. They've been sensational. He, the 27-year-old driver, and his 25-year-old lady passenger, she has been terrific. Look at that. A small grid, but as I said at the outset of yesterday's race, it doesn't detract from the racing because the quality is so high. Harry Payne and Mark Wilkes hoping for a better result this time. They retire with a split exhaust all the way from the Isle of Man. They missed Spa, so they've got a bit of catching up to do. On board then with Payne and Wilkes on the back of Kershaw and Charlwood. Race leaders Ellis, Clement, Schlosser, Fries. Then it's the old battle again. Right at the back of that we have Lucas Wies and Thomas Hofer, but they're not losing sight of the young Peugeot and his father in the chair, Ted Peugeot, who wasn't going to do all the... Look at that! Out on the green stuff, that's Benny Stroyer. Benny Stroyer ahead of Steve Kershaw. Kershaw will have seen that. There might be an opportunity. We're on board with Harry Payne watching all that, so a great shot. At the front then, Todd Ellis in front, holding off and fending off all the attentions of Marcus Schlosser. There, the Bonovo action bike of Benny Stroyer, the only Bonovo action bike running. Shame Tim Reeves is not here, but that is of his own volition. He opted not to do any, as he couldn't do Spa, so having done the first two, he is now basically sitting out the rest of the championship, which is a great shame, because to have Tim Reeves and Kevin Rousseau in the mix here would be a sight to behold. Nonetheless, the two blue and white bikes at the back, difficult to tell them apart. Through the inside of Stroyer and up to third goes Kershaw. This is great stuff. Kershaw and Ryan Charlwood then in third now. They've been on the podium before this year. They want more of it. They really do. They like what they see with the podium. Todd Ellis, Emmanuel Clement looking strong here. Harry Payne looking a little bit wide there. Lost an awful lot of time, Harry Payne there. And he was looking at the back of the other boys, and they got away. Benny Stroyer back again, sidecar over the grass, ahead of him, Kershaw and Charlwood. Out in front, Ellis and Clement, and still chasing them down Schlosser. You just know, don't you? You just know something's going to happen, because even if he leaves it till the last lap, it will be there. You could bet your bottom dollar on it. You can bet all the cars you've got in your garage on the fact that Schlosser will have a do-or-die attempt, a lunge, on the last lap, if not before. Benny Stroyer then, if anything, dropping back a little bit off the back of Steve Kershaw. Not where he wants to be. Harry Payne leading the chasing two blue and white bikes. That's Ted Peugeot and Lucas Wies in that order respectively. Kershaw now is as close to Schlosser as he has been. 4 bikes. And then 3 more. So we've got it is more of a 12-wheeler at the front, and now this battle again being renewed with Kevin Cable, Chaz Richardson and Vinay Arafont. Good to see the Frenchman Vinay here contesting every round as well, so there was some question as to whether he would. Through then on Harry Payne goes Ted Peugeot sliding underneath. The Vincent father, son and father, the son riding the bike, father on the back. Number 74 acquitting themselves really, really well. Still, Todd Ellis having to ride very carefully here, because he knows his pit board will be telling him what's behind, and it's an absolute freight train. Benny Stroyer closing again on Steve Kershaw, Ryan Charlwood. These boys have had a great season, they really have. And focusing their main attention on the World Championship. Shame they're not doing some of the British, but that is of their choice, and I suppose funds make it difficult. I mean, where else would you see sidecar racing like this, when deep into the race you've got 4 outfits on the same piece of tarmac? You could get them in the back of an Arctic. Benny Stroyer then, looking at Steve Kershaw, looking which way, right way, shall I go left, shall I go right? Sidecar wheel on the green stuff. Closing in, the big fat Avon tyres. Standing up well in this heat, and it is heat 34 degrees. If you want it hot, then it's here at the Pannonia Ring in Hungary. Most of the crowd with their shirts off. None of the ladies, not that I've noticed anyway. But Todd Ellis now in a 19-point lead in the championship, and here goes Benny Stroyer. Benny Stroyer up to third. Benny Stroyer up to third, having slid up the inside of Steve Kershaw, so reunited with third place. Benny Stroyer, the former champion. Kevin Kolsch, his exuberant young passenger who does such a great job, and moving out of the slipstream up towards turn 1. Down the start-finish straight, we're on board again with another fly on the camera of Marcus Schlosser. This right-hander is approached very fast. You can do it on the brakes, but where is Todd Ellis? No sign of Ellis. Schlosser is in front, firmly in front. There is Todd Ellis. Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. He gives as good as he gets every single time. There is no question that Todd Ellis is a master. They keep it clean as well, these guys. It's very tidy racing. Kershaw still in touch. Stroyer, Kolsch. Oh, wow. The reflection of Todd Ellis's bike in the very highly polished fairing of Markus Schlosser is a sight to behold. Schlosser then very well aware that he has a race on his hands. Looking deep into the race now. But these are long, long races. Anything can happen. We've seen it time and time again. But this 2022 season has already gone down as one of the closest in terms of the racing and the competitive nature. On the green stuff again for Ellis. You just know, don't you? You just know that coming later in the race, it's going to be frantic action. And which one of these crews will triumph? Which one of them will stand on the podium? There's already been double victory for Todd Ellis. Came away from Spa, Francorchamps with double victory, maximum points. What a fillip for their confidence that was. Still Ted Peugeot leading Harry Payne. And there, Lucas Wiesson, Thomas Hofer, the second of the blue and white outfits. The Gust Oil effectively teammates to Markus Schlosser. Here comes Schlosser again, that same move. Slinging it wide out of the turn, going past on the left-hand side into turn one to take the lead. Now, what has Todd Ellis got here? Schlosser will close the outside door, so he takes the back door. That'll do nicely. Underneath Schlosser, neck and neck, almost kissing the passenger. A look over the shoulder from Emmanuel Clement. What a brilliant young lady she is. Benny Stroyer acquitting himself. These four outfits, nothing between them. Absolutely, I'm not taking my eyes off the screen, not for the timing screen, not for my paperwork, because if I do, I'm going to miss something. That battle between Vinet and Kevin Cable, with Vinet, then Claude Vinet. Sorry if I'm tripping over my teeth. I didn't borrow a spare set before coming into this, but it's non-stop action. And Kevin Cable and Chaz Richardson on the L&W contractor's bike, just having a wonderful, wonderful race. Look at them. Here they come again, the 111 bike. Claude Vinet, Sébastien Arafon on that deep, deep metallic burgundy bike. Good racing all the way down the field. Everybody's battling. Everybody's fighting. None more so than these boys at the front. Schlosser, Ellis, ahead of him. Well, what a race. I don't know. I'm not going to get £10 out of my pocket. I don't know which way this is going. This Pannonia Ring, the most fantastic track, about 125 miles due west of the capital of Hungary, Budapest. 18 turns, 11 rights, 7 lefts, 2.93 miles each lap. Here he comes again, Markus Schlosser. But Todd Ellis found a little bit more speed across the line that time. But no, Schlosser dives across the nose. You can't take your eyes off this action, can you? Where's Ellis going this time? He's going left. He's going left. He's up the inside, but he's across. Oh, he's across. Schlosser then cut the nose off Ellis. That was Ellis. Went wide. Schlosser took advantage of that wide move. And Ellis coming out of the slipstream again. And there was a bit of a rub there. Bit of a rub. Marcel Fries had to just jump in a little bit. That... well, did one pull the move and was it honours even? I don't know. I didn't quite see, only from the onboard, what Schlosser's move was on Todd Ellis, but certainly Todd Ellis went wide. Now, Benny Stroyer has profited there. Benny Stroyer has profited from that little hiccup between those toe crews, and that is crucial. I think it's crucial because Stroyer seems to be getting away. And Schlosser is down in fourth. Kershaw profited as well. Kershaw made his way through into a podium place late in the race. Oh, this is absolutely sensational. Eat your heart out if you're not here. This is where you need to be. Whether you're watching or whether you should be competing, And we hear that Sam and Tom Christie could well be joining the grid in 1 week's time in Croatia. So that's more fuel on the fire here. Great stuff. It's the place to be if you fancy yourself as a World Championship racer. Do not miss this. Get out on the tarmac. If you've got eligibility, make sure you're here for Croatia or into the closing races in the season. Schlosser in 4th. Goodness me. Charlwood in 3rd. Ted Peugeot still down there, going strongly. On board with Harry Payne, and through goes Ted Peugeot again. That looks like, or was that Lucas Wiese? Difficult to tell. All I can tell you that Markus Schlosser is looking at the back of Steve Kershaw, and he's going to go past. He's going to make a move. He knows he's quick over the line, and through he goes. Schlosser then back up to 3rd. Kershaw will be shaking himself with rage now because he needs that podium. He wants that podium. He's looking as well for that podium. But look at that. Out in front, there's Benny Stroyer, who's pulled a good gap on Todd Ellis and Emmanuel Clement. They're in a 20-point position. But the most important thing is the man behind them is in a 16-point position, and that is their main championship rival and the title defender. Lucas Wiese, number 41 on the Gustav Yamaha. He and Thomas Hofer have had a solitary race once they dropped off the back of Ted Peugeot. This is not over yet. This is not over yet. Look at this between these three crews. Benny Stroyer's away with it. The Quattro bike of Steve Kershaw wants a bit of that action, a bit of that podium action. Is it on? I've got a dry mouth. I'm sure they've got dry mouths. I'm not taking my eyes off the screen for a second. Incredible stuff. Incredible. Round 4 here. Todd Ellis in 2nd place. The title lead still safe. Benny Stroyer then, former champion, getting another taste, is he, of the top step of the podium. It's all to fight for 2nd. And here comes Schlosser. Having a look at Ellis, he wants that 2nd place, he wants to claim 4 points back. Is it on? Schlosser then having a look. Emmanuel Clement using her weight as much as she can to the best of the advantage to get it over the rear wheel. Get the drive to the flag, and it's Benny Stroyer. Ellis gets it from Schlosser. Kershaw in 4th. Amazing stuff. Well, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Absolutely love it. Overcome the rest of the crews. A good fight by Peugeot. I said that boy was good. Double checkered flags here. Harry Payne comes over to get a good result. He will clinch, I think, 7th place. Looks like it. So, yeah, 7th place. Confirmation of that. Stroyer, Ellis, Schlosser, Kershaw, Peugeot. There's the top 5. Wiesen got the better of Payne into 7th, but points for Harry Payne and Mark Wilkes. Wiene got the better of Cable. Kimmerswenger, DNF, a retirement. What a shame for them.
They had a really good race. I think the race from today was even better. Well, at least 4 bikes, maybe for a long time in 1 second. And I did everything just to save my tires till the end, and that worked.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. We were 4 bikes in the front, and we tried to save the tires, and then there was the opportunity. We used the gap, and Benny drove like hell to the finish line, and then we finished on P1.
I wonder what we have to do to get a smile out of Benny Stroyer. There it is then, championship lead extended. Schlosser, Kershaw, Stroyer, Wiesen, Peugeot, Reeves of course not playing, and Cable, Wiene. Kevin Cable 8th. What a great result for them. Smiling faces all round. It's been a brilliant weekend here at the Pannonia Ring. Well, closing down the shop here, but all these crews move up the road for 1 week's time. They're in Croatia. It'll be hot there too, but what a fantastic event we've had here at the Pannonia Ring. From me, Barry Nutley, hope you've enjoyed it.